Hello, puppies and kittens. Welcome to another episode of Reading Joseph Smith. And we are again shy of Shannon. It was another thing that she had to do, so we're one light. Well, actually, a few light because I sent out invitations to a handful of other people who are crazy busy and can't make it all the time. But at least we got Bryce and Tomer to carry the show. Gazalem, how are we doing?
I'll carry it too.
Oh, you evil man, Oren.
Wait, hang on.
Okay.
This says it's not Tomer, and I see a face. Something is weird.
Yeah, it's Purim, so that's my costume.
Oh yeah, we got to drink some more. It's still
Yeah.
Purim. I got to. Okay, I'll finish this
I
water and I'll.
Yeah, I have a beer here. This is Gems Belgian Ale, 8.8 alcohol content. So
Ooh,
it's
nice.
stronger than
At least you
before.
got a decent one.
Yep.
Mine's a high
I can do
pointer.
Belgian.
Yeah.
So
Are you going to be playing along to And It Came to Pass drinking game tonight?
there's a
no.
good chance we'll have a drunk
Looks like
Tomer.
Maybe there is.
Okay, and so we are on.
I called it.
Go ahead, Tomer.
All right. I plead an appeal of this decision. Honestly, because this is one of this is probably my favorite chapter in this entire book, if I can have a favorite chapter. And when I was talking to Shannon during our record this yesterday, she was like, if I can make it on, I am going to read this and wrestle it from Tomer's fingers. So I earnestly ask the panelists,
You know what?
is it okay for me to read this chapter?
Sure thing, Bryce.
I vote Bryce.
Okay, this is the most magic the Book of Mormon actually gets. Like we had before this, we had the brass ball, the Leahona, the compass that it's like Jack Sparrow's compass that just whatever you want the most, it leads you to it. That was like second in magic to what we're about to read. So, Ether chapter 3. And it came to pass that the brother of Jared, Mahanre Moriankimer, now the number of the vessels which had been prepared was 8, and that was in parentheticals, and I didn't whisper it. I'm sorry. Went forth unto the mount, which they called the Mount Shelem, because of its exceeding height, and did molten out of rock 16 small stones, and they were white and clear, even as transparent glass. Glass.
Yeah,
Glass.
I mean, is glass white?
Apparently,
I mean, maybe you can
antediluvian glass is.
Yeah, maybe you can like white glass. So, but I should say that Shelem kind of reminds me of Shalem, which means complete. And I don't think I know what the reference is because of its exceeding height. Yeah, maybe it refers to this.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Okay. What?
And I wanted to
almost Hebrew word in a book written in Reformed Egyptian. So never mind.
and break in the numbers are 8 vessels, so there's 8 submarines.
8 submarines. That's how many they made. And remember, right before we cut off last week, the brother of Jared, Mahanre Moriankimer, was like, "Hey God, how are we gonna see in our wooden submarines? I can't put windows in because the waves will shatter the glass. So how are we going to see on our journey?" And this is God's solution. So we got 16 small stones, 8 vessels. They were white and clear, even as transparent glass. And he did carry them in his hands upon the top of the mount, and cried again unto the Lord, saying, "O Lord, thou hast said we must be encompassed about by the floods. Now behold, O Lord, and do not be angry with thy servant because of his weakness before thee. For we know that thou art holy and dwellest in the heavens, and that we are unworthy before thee. Because of the fall, our natures have become evil continually. Nevertheless, O Lord, thou hast given us a commandment that we must call upon thee, that from thee we may receive according to our desires. Behold, O Lord, thou hast smitten us because of our iniquity, and hast driven us forth. And for these many years we have been in the wilderness. Nevertheless, thou hast been merciful unto us. O Lord, look upon me in pity, and turn away thine anger from this thy people, and suffer not that they shall go forth across this raging deep in darkness. But behold, these things which I have molten out of the rock. Hey God, check out my stones.
Hey, wait a minute before you go on. Check out my stones. If you go over to Order of Amen, I have white stones, molten rock, made out of 100% molten celestialized crystal. You can get your white stone there.
I
With
have
your
one
new
of
name
those.
on
I have one of those right up there.
And we're talking about them right in this book.
That's where we are. Yep.
The original stones, everybody. Go check
Hold
them
on
out.
before you continue. Ahmad Sanan says, hi, Aaron. I just went to the Phylogeny Explorer project and it was still in the beta stage. How long till it is complete? I'm sorry that this is an irrelevant question, but I needed this. There's a financial issue at this point. They're building a sixth database, and we're just down to a handful of volunteers who are doing what they can in their spare time, unfortunately. And it's been that we had one of the chief engineer to build it that was in Ukraine, and then the Ukraine war happened, and then when we lost contact with him, well, then we had to switch to something else. And right now it's. What I really would like to have is I would like to be able to hire a project manager to get this thing back underway, but because I don't know what else to do at this point. It's drudging along so slowly, but we're doing what we can. All right, anyway, let's. And then Bruno Zygerts says offers $5 Canadian and says, "Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Gato glass sub? My friends all have U-boats. I must make amends."
God of shotgunning, OP. All right, continuing verse 4. And I know, O Lord, that thou hast all power and can do whatever thou wilt for the benefit of man. It's like, God, you're so powerful. You could just pick us up and drop us anywhere you want, yet you're making us go in these wooden submarines. At least it won't be a long trip, right, God? Tumbling in the darkness. All right, continuing on. Therefore, touch these stones, O Lord, with thy finger, and prepare them
these
that they may
stones.
shine forth in the darkness. And they shall shine forth unto us in the vessels which we have prepared, that we may have light while we shall cross the sea. Behold, O Lord, thou canst do this. Shouldn't it be canst thou do this?
You can't touch my stones. No, not these stones at least.
Get that finger away from my stones. All right. Behold, O Lord, thou canst do this. That seems like just straight up misprint. All right. We know that thou art able to show forth great power, which looks small unto the understanding of men. And it came to pass that when the brother of Jared had said these words, behold, the Lord stretched forth his hand and said, iPhone home, and touched these stones one by one with his finger, and the veil was taken from off the eyes of Mohanrai Moriankamer, and he saw the finger of the Lord. And it was a finger of a man.
So we have anthropomorphism right here.
Yep, God is in a corporeal form. And it was as the finger of a man, like unto flesh and blood. And the brother of Jared fell down before the Lord, for he was struck with fear. Well,
as
God's
the
bony
finger of a man, you previously said stretched forth his hand. So is the hand as the hand of a man? Like how does that work?
Oh no,
the finger is connected to the hand. It's connected to the.
This is depicted in a lot of Mormon artwork, that they have this image that brother of Jared is up on top of the Mount Shalem. He has his 16 stones, and a hand is descending from like a veil of clouds and lighting up the stones, touching them. So like this is something that is like iconic in Mormon culture and stuff. Like this is an important story. Anyway, the Lord stretched forth his hand and touched the stones one by one with his finger. And the brother of Jared was struck with fear. He fell down before the Lord. And the Lord saw that the brother of Jared had fallen to the earth. And the Lord said unto him, arise, why hast thou fallen? And he saith unto the Lord,
falling and I can't get up.
And he saith unto the Lord, I saw the finger of the Lord,
The finger.
and
It
I
was-
feared lest he should smite me.
I should note that the motif of finger of the Lord also appears in the Bible. So for example, the I think it was the one of the plagues of Egypt. I don't know if that's the mite plague. That
Yes.
where
And the Lord Jehovah thus gave him the finger.
No, yeah, and basically the Egyptian magicians basically say this is the finger of God, and
Oh,
I assume that there
wow.
are other instances where this, and also the inscription in Daniel was written by the hand of God. I assume, if I remember correctly, the Mene Mene Tekel and Fasin, Ufasin.
That sounds like it should be a band, the Egyptian magicians.
I was thinking the finger of God, and that's probably
That is
already
cool
out
about
there.
the finger, though, because that seems unique to Mormonism. So I'm glad you
Mhm.
brought that up, not Tomer, because
You're welcome.
that's really cool.
Yeah, and like this is one of those situations where it's like maybe there's like literary like genius going on here, where the author is utilizing the iconography of the finger of God as like an imposter of God, right? Like these are the Egyptian magicians using these things. These were imitations of God's power, and then Moses is the one who demonstrated God's power, right? So like if that is the way that this was written, then that's actually that there's something to attach to. There's something like a spiritual idea here, or a concept that is much deeper than the text that we could actually mine for interesting commentary. But I'm not really willing to give the author the benefit of the doubt on that.
If I remember right, and I wish Sandra Tanner was here, because this stuff is in the biblical apocrypha. There's something about the stones glowing in the apocrypha, and I
Interesting.
remember that. I just can't remember what the exact scripture is and stuff.
Interesting.
But there's a lot of this ether stuff that appeared in apocryphal works in the Bible.
Oh, very cool. I'll have to look that up then. In addition, like I think probably the most reasonable way to look at this is that, like, was it Moses the prophet that saw the backside of the Lord, or was that
Yeah.
Abraham?
Yeah.
That was Moses got to see God's ass.
Yeah, so I read
Yeah.
this right here as like the author of this was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna one up the Bible yet again. Because now we have God's hand descending, but just wait.
He literally gave us all the finger. I just needed to I need to make a big disclaimer real quick though. God charge not included. You got to do that yourself.
God tax free.
Find your
Okay.
local Mount Shalem and go ask God to light it up.
Yeah.
All right, so he saw the finger of the Lord, and he fell down because he feared lest he should smite me. For I knew not that the Lord had flesh and blood. And the Lord said unto him, because of thy faith thou hast seen that I shall take upon me flesh and blood. And never has any man come before me with such exceeding faith as thou hast. For were it not so, ye could not have seen my finger. Sawest thou more than this?
Sawest.
You saw more than this, mother.
And he answered, Nay, Lord, show thyself unto me. And the Lord said unto him, believest thou the words which I shall speak? And he answered, Yea, Lord, I know that thou speakest the truth, for thou art a God of truth, and canst not lie.
Canst
wait.
not lie.
But wait, the Bible has God bragging about lying. When he says, if a prophet says something wrong, it's because I, the Lord, have deceived that prophet. Right? I put a lying spirit into the scribes. Jeremiah 8:8.
The light and the darkness.
Yeah, he lied in
Exactly.
Genesis.
But God admits a number of times that he lied and brags about it. Anyway, I did a video on that.
I should look this up.
And then SJL says, just like the foot from Monty Python, I wonder if it made the same noise.
Yeah. All right. So continuing on, thou canst not lie, apparently. And you know what? According to that, I'll just say that this shows Alexander Campbell, a very popular preacher, founded the Disciples of Christ movement, right? That his assessment of the Book of Mormon in 1831 was fairly accurate when he said that this book claims to settle all of the controversies of all of the Christian sects of our day. Right. And that's what it was, right? This was a big controversy at the time. This is still a controversy in Christianity today, is like, does God have a corporeal form, or is Jesus that corporeal form? And in Mormonism, we have God and Jesus are separate corporeal beings. So this is a source of disagreement among many different Christian denominations. And like, Joe was just planting his flag with this. And Alexander Campbell was like, weird, a book written supposedly 2,000 years before the birth of Christ is so attuned to the 19th century dogmas and fights going on among Christians.
Yeah, that's what Joseph Smith was trying to do, was make the purest form of Christianity, and it was kind of like theosophy before theosophy, where he's bringing all this together and trying to create the purest form of all religion.
So he canst not lie. And when he said these words, behold, the Lord showed himself unto him and said, because thou knowest these things are redeemed from the fall, therefore ye are brought back into my presence. Therefore I show myself unto you. Behold, I am he who was prepared from the foundation of the world to redeem my people. Behold, I am Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The
So it's,
Father and the Son.
wow,
The finger-
anti-Trinitarianism right here.
Yeah.
Right after Babylon, though, we got Jesus showing up right after Babylon
Right.
is fallen.
In me shall all mankind have life, and that eternally, even they who shall believe on my name, and they shall become my sons and my daughters.
Wait a
And
minute.
never-
If he is
I-
both the Father and the Son, then he begot himself.
So how was it
Well-
that Joseph Smith saw Jesus standing next to God, if here Jesus is God?
I know the first vision is weird though, because it really didn't even, the first vision
I
wasn't even
mean,
spoken of until the 1830s or something, way after
30s.
it supposedly happened.
I mean, if
So
Clark
that's a
Kent
made-up story.
introduces you to Superman and you shake both of their hands and look at them both, one on your left and one on your right, then they can't be the same person, right?
Yeah. That's like, we use that data to plot the legendary evolution of the first vision, right? Because there are multiple different accounts of the first vision. The earliest account from 1832, which is a private reminiscence, or private document anyway, was written consistent with the theology that we just now read. But it's later versions of it, 1834, 1835, and finally the 1838 official history, that slowly like amoebify God into two separate corporeal beings. The first vision, from like the first account of the first vision, Joe just says that the heavens opened up and that the Lord, what is the exact words? Can you help me, Gazalem?
I think it was that just the Lord appeared that time, but at one point it was only an angel,
Yeah.
and then other time it was God and Jesus and a multitude of angels. So the story got more complex as he went along as well. By the time it showed up in the Pearl of Great Price, this story had been going on around for a while.
You know, I
And- but
realize
m-
that there's a hell of a lot of parallels between Mormonism and Islam, and that what I'm about to speak to is not from any is not an hadith or the Quran, but there was some folklore around 1200 or so about this Muslim pilgrim who went to Constantinople and fell in love with a woman because she didn't have her hair bound up, and seeing her hair not bound up caused him to fall in love with her and caused him to become Catholic, because that's what you do, I guess. But at some point he reconverted back to Islam because he saw the face of Muhammad in the sky.
oh,
Now this was in 1200, right? Not 700, not 600 something, 1200. So how did he know what Muhammad looked like?
glossiolia. It's whatever you see in there is what it looks like.
Okay, so
It's
go ahead.
He
Or
looked
not
like one of the
glossalia. What is that called when
That's
you
purple.
see images in the
Peri-
cloud?
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia. I meant pareidolia.
He
Sorry.
saw the calligraphy of Muhammad.
You saw the calligraphy.
Yes,
It was his face. It said.
his
I saw
face was
Muhammad's-
the calligraphy.
Okay.
because he only appears in symbols. There's no like
Yeah, exactly.
false idols.
That's how I want to be. I only want to appear in symbols.
Zildjian's my choice. All right. And never have I showed myself unto man, whom I have created. For never has man believed in me as thou hast. That Abraham
When
guy,
was that?
fuck him. Moses, dude, nah. You,
Adam?
Mohanrai Moriankamer, you're the good one.
Which I never talked about in the Old Testament.
Yeah, forget all those other punk ass bitches.
Yep.
Look, Book of Mormon has to level up. It has to be more interesting and exciting than the book than the Bible, and this is it.
Before you
Seest
continue,
thou? Yeah.
before you continue, please, one more comment. And I'm sorry to interrupt you. God's servant says, "Who is Jesus supposed to be in Mormonism? And why should we listen to Jesus specifically according to the doctrine of Mormonism?
I can
Why
answer
should
that.
we?"
I can answer that. One, he is God, and two, because he is God. There we go.
He is Jehovah, who is
He's
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
of the Old Testament. So
Yeah,
that,
it all depends on who you talk to. Because if I were talking to Sri Prabhupada, he would say that Jesus was just another incarnation of Krishna, and that Krishna is just another incarnation of Vishnu, and so is Buddha. Siddhartha Gautama is just another incarnation of Rama. Oh no, of Vishnu.
Well, and see,
Why not?
it's weird
Why not?
because Jehovah Witnesses believe that Michael is Jehovah, where we believe Michael is actually God, because Michael was Adam. And so the Adam God doctrine throws it all out, the whole thing, because we believe
thought-
that Adam is God.
I thought Michael was John Travolta. No, that was an old movie. Sorry.
Well, and so like it's kind of a complicated question because Jesus is a complicated figure in Mormonism, Mormon doctrine, but suffice it to say Jesus is our brother, and we all call Elohim, like God. That's the one who fucked all of our spirits into existence and then created the earth and everything. So Jesus is like our brother on par with us, and if we are the most righteous Mormons ever, we do all the handshakes and we say all the right code signs and like the fucking all the things, we do everything right, we can level up to become basically another Jesus or another God, and then we can go through some kind of a similar passion narrative on the planet that we create. So Jesus is not just like God, he's also part of the Godhead. He's also our brother. He's also the literal, like, corporeal brother of Satan. And they're like actual blood brothers. And both of them presented plans to God, and God went with Jesus's plan. And Satan was so mad about that fact that Satan defected with a third of the hosts of heaven. So that's kind of a messy answer to a complicated question. Okay.
Yeah, sounds
All right.
good.
Yea, even all men were created in the beginning after mine own image. Behold this body, which ye now behold.
Behold this body. I'm
It's not
the ultimate male.
But the funny thing is, it's not a real body. He keeps saying this is a spirit body, but it's a real body, but this is the body I'm going to have. He's been saying that.
Yeah, that is an interesting point. Yeah, and also, by the way,
Oh,
in
this
case you
was
missed
before
it,
Jesus. Is this before Jesus?
Yeah,
like,
because
was
this is right
born?
after the Tower of Babel fell. So
Okay, so I forget because we've done that that Pulp Fiction thing where
Yeah,
we
with
went back to
Tarantino.
the beginning after the Quentin Tarantino paradox. So now we're talking to Jesus before Jesus was Jesus.
we're talking to Jesus 2,200 years before Jesus was a thing.
Because
2,000
before
years.
Abraham I am. So sure.
Why not? There you go. And
But
in
that's-
case we missed it too, God had his finger down and was touching all the stones, and he's like, "I'm gonna show my whole self," and that's when he like came down out of the clouds. So he's like standing, talking face to face to Mahonrai Moriankumer right now.
So God just puts his finger down and touches things sometimes. But I have a vision of God putting his finger like really, really close to you, but not actually. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
Yeah, I know, really.
All right. Behold this body, blah, 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 body of my spirit, and man have I created after the body of my spirit. And even as I appear unto thee to be in the spirit, which or will I appear unto my people in the flesh. So yeah, just like what you were saying,
Yeah.
he's like he's taking on the physical body to just be like, hey, this is what I'm gonna look like in 2,000 years. Make sure you don't forget this face. And now,
body's a
as
monkey.
oh, this is a strange little meta thing here. And now, as I, Moroni, said I could not make a full account of these things which are written, therefore it suffices me to say that Jesus showed himself unto this man in the spirit, even after the manner and in the likeness of the same body, even as he showed himself unto the Nephites.
I mean, you could have. You
funny.
could have removed the first part of it, and it'd be just fine. There's no
That's-
lot.
It's lazy writing, right? This is a great dialogue. You have your prophet meeting your God face to face, and just as they start the conversation, that's when the camera fades to black. Like, it's just lazy screenwriting.
love
Come
it.
on.
Moroni rocks. He always has to come in and be like, let me just say the exact thing that was just said, just to remind you where we're at.
Yeah. And also, I totally didn't write everything down, but suffice it to say, they had a long chat and some tea. And he ministered unto him, even as he ministered unto the Nephites. And all this, that this man might know that he was God, because of the many
Whoa.
great works which the Lord has showed unto him. And because of the knowledge of this man, he could not be kept from beholding within the veil. And he saw the finger of Jesus, which when he saw, he fell with fear, for he knew that it was the finger of the Lord, and he had faith no longer, for he knew nothing doubting. Boom, there you go. He had faith
Whoa.
no longer because he saw the finger of God. Nothing
finger
Now
doubting.
that
Yeah.
is the name of
God.
a band. Well, actually, no, it's Faith No More.
Yeah, close. Very close.
Nothing doubting. I mean, nothing doubting could be a name of a band, right?
Yeah, why not?
You want it all.
Okay.
Right. Wherefore, having this perfect knowledge of God, he could not be kept from within the veil. Therefore, he saw Jesus, and he did minister unto him. So we're just going to recite everything that just happened over and over again. And it came to pass that the Lord said unto the brother of Jared Mahonai Moriankumer, behold, thou shalt not suffer these things which ye have seen and heard to go forth unto the world until the time cometh that I shall glorify my name in the flesh. Wherefore ye shall treasure, at which point all of your records are going to be in the Americas and pretty fucking useless for everybody who might need your records. So, and also not going to be in a language that anybody can understand. So, you know what? It doesn't really matter that I'm telling you not to tell anybody because you're all about to die. All right. Wherefore ye shall treasure up the things which ye have seen and heard, and show it to no man. And behold, when ye shall come unto me, ye shall write them and shall seal them up, that no one can interpret them. For ye shall write them in a language that they cannot be read.
Yeah.
And
there you
behold-
go.
Egyptian, which we
So
can
God-
read.
No.
This is
Oh,
the
it's not
Dominic.
according to Egyptian?
This is
Oh.
Adamic.
Yeah.
Because they were the only people when Babel fell that were able to keep their own language
That's right.
without
I'm
it
just
being
thinking about a
changed.
God. Yeah, but this is God. This is the uber-galactic overlord, right? The creator of every galaxy, and he's only concerned out of all of the galaxies with out of zillions of galaxies, he's concerned with this one. Out of hundreds of billions of stars, he's only concerned with ours and our little dust speck in that, and then only with that portion of that little dust speck, wherein he tells us, yeah, I'm talking to you, but don't tell anybody, because if you tell somebody, that will upset my omnipotent plan. somehow.
And not only that, but Mehanre Moriankamer is the only person that is the big OG that has the only language that survived, the Tower of Babel, the pure language. It's crazy. This guy's a big dude.
Yeah.
Got a couple more comments to read. Matt White says, Bryce, if Tarantino wrote a book in the Book of Mormon, it would have less dying and more bare feet. Yes, no?
I assumed that both actually.
Both and probably more racism.
Oh no.
Depends on the movie. Depends on the movie.
Okay, but it's going to have Samuel L. Jackson one way or another.
That's right. That's right.
And then
Reciting a Bible verse for some reason.
when we're doing Blasphemers Bible, when we come to that line, I so wish, I don't know how to do this, but I so wish that I could get Samuel L. Jackson to just be on there for a moment, even just to record it for us, but be his voice reading that and not from the movie.
Now that
But I
doesn't really
realized-
exist, right? That Bible verse was made for the
Amalgamation of a
film.
bunch.
Yeah, that's
it's
that's
an
the
observation.
shitty thing. It's not really in the
Yeah. No.
fucked up.
I hope that wasn't your
I mean, I
punchline.
think
'cause I
it's
was
over it, but yeah.
Okay,
but it
so
was in
skeptical-
here, like there, word for word. There were a couple things in here that was like exactly out of Samuel Jackson's mouth.
When they were trying to choose the new pope, remember when they had Darth Ratzinger and they had to put him off an exclusion some way for being the Hitler youth that tried to protect all of the pedophiles? Right when they finally had to get rid of the
I don't
pope
know.
because he was too criminal, and they needed
Oh,
to
no.
find another pope kind of desperately. I remember
Is that what
suggesting,
happened?
hey,
Oh.
it could be Samuel L. Jackson, right? Anyway, and I'm sending this message like in a text that gets spread out throughout my what is the intranet? It's the office
Intranet.
communication. So when I type this out, it's everybody in the office that I was working in would get this message. So the new pope should be Samuel L. Jackson, and he would say things like, "Say Hail Mary one more time."
I was gonna say, there are too many baby corpses in this motherfucking catacombs.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, Skeptical Brain says they always don't write the cool stuff because writing was hard for Joey.
Exactly. Yes. So instead, he spends 4 verses of like, by the way, Moroni breaking in here. They said a lot of cool shit, and then they didn't write any of it down because God was like, "Don't write it down."
Part.
Thanks, Moroni.
And then we have another comment from God's servant who says, What do Mormons believe in concerning Jesus's nature? Is he fully God, and is he God alone?"
No, he is the literal, patrilineal descendant of God, but he is one part of what is the Godhead. And the idea of the Godhead is that there are 3 separate entities that are all aligned in purpose, motive, and omniscience and omnipotence. And that Elohim is the God that grew up as a man on the planet nearest the star Kolob and ascended to godhood. And that's when he, once he ascended, became a member of the Council of Gods because he was the best Mormon on his planet. That's when he formed the earth and he created all of the spirit babies that became, baby babies through Adam and Eve. And then his world got so corrupted that he's like, I'm gonna go fuck Mary. And Jesus was born. Physically. That's God is a physical being. Jesus is his physical son.
I'm just thinking about that concept of I'm the best Mormon in the world.
A little name tag. Yeah. All right, moving on.
Hold on, one more comment.
Wait,
This one from
no.
Matt White, who says it's written in a language none can understand, but they reckoned without Tomer.
Yeah.
How did they do it without their translator?
Exactly.
All right. And behold, when ye shall come up or come unto me, ye shall write them and shall seal them up, so on and so forth, the language that cannot be read. And behold, these 2 stones. Where's yours, Gazalem? These 2 stones will I give unto thee, and ye shall seal them up also with the things which ye shall write. For behold, the language which ye shall write, I have confounded. Wherefore I will cause in mine own due time that these stones shall magnify to the eyes of men these things which ye shall write. And that is the urim and thummim. So
Yep,
the
that's-
stones that Joseph dug up from his backyard were actually given to Mohanrai Moriankimer by God, kept as translators, and passed through all of the prophets until for 3,000 years, until Moroni buried them in the ground with the gold plates for Joseph Smith to dig out of his backyard and translate into this book.
Yeah, this is important because these translators were also found back in Mosiah, and I think it was Mosiah 2 that had the power to translate them, to translate the plates that were sent by the Jaredites and things. So
I thought it was
these
He-Man
translators
who had
have
the
been
power.
yeah. Well, these powerful translators have been passed down all the way through the Book of Mormon and ended up in the Hill Cumorah.
Yeah, in upstate New York for Joey Smith to dig up. Yep. And when the Lord had said these words, he showed unto Mohanrai Moriankimer all the inhabitants of the earth which had been, and also all that would be. And he withheld them not from his sight, even unto the ends of the earth. So not only is Mohanrai Moriankimer seeing God in full physical form, he is seeing every single human being that ever has lived or ever will live.
Oh God, he sees me. Cheers.
We're laughing at you, buddy.
But he doesn't really see you because you're not Tomer, and
Exactly.
you're clothed in darkness.
Of course. Of course.
Although it is interesting, it's the one time that we do have somewhat of a vision instead of a screen.
I just have to notice that Gazalem is safe too, because sure, he sees Gazalem, but he's wearing a mask.
For he had said unto him in times before that if he would believe in him, that he could show unto him all things. Who is he and him and whatever? It should be shown unto him. Therefore, the Lord could not withhold anything from him, for he knew that the Lord could show him all things. And the Lord said unto him, write these things and seal them up, and I will show them in mine own due time unto the children of men, when that country bumpkin digs them up from his backyard. And it came to pass that the Lord commanded him that he should seal up the 2 stones which he had received, and show them not until the Lord should show them unto the children of men. Magic stones in the Book of Mormon, everybody. That's how the submarines are guided by the light of God on their transoceanic journey.
Wooden submarines.
Wooden submarine.
Yeah.
We all live in a water submarine. What is submarine?
Because
What is submarine?
submarines with glass windows is a stupid idea.
Tight as a dish.
So, moving on to Ether 4. Tomer,
Can I please read it? Yes.
Would you please read Ether 4?
Yes,
you, Tomer.
Aaron, I will. And I'm tipsy, so it's going to be very good.
Tomer's tipsy. Tipsy Tomer.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we take this religious study with the reverence it deserves.
I'm drinking this out of my Sunstone mug that says, more than one way to Mormon.
Yeah.
And I abide by that principle.
Hell yeah.
Very good. Okay, so we're reading Ether 4. And the Lord commanded the brother of Jared to go down out of the mount from the presence of the Lord and write the things which he had seen. And they were forbidden to come unto the children of men until after that he should be lifted up upon the cross. Until after that he should, okay. And for this cause did King Mosiah keep them, that they should not come unto the world until after Christ should show himself unto his people. And after Christ truly had showed himself unto his people, he commanded that they should be made manifest. And now, after that, they have all dwindled in unbelief, and there is none save it be the Lamanites, and they have rejected the gospel of Christ. Therefore, I am commanded that I should hide them up again in the earth. Behold, I have written upon these plates the very things which the brother of Jared saw. And there never were greater things made manifest than those which were made manifest unto the brother of Jared. Wherefore, the Lord hath commanded me to write them, and I have written them. And he commanded me that I should seal them up. And he also hath commanded that I should seal up the interpretation thereof. Wherefore, I have sealed up the interpreters according to the commandments of the Lord. For the Lord, for the Lord said unto me, they shall not go forth unto the Gentiles until the day that they shall repent of their iniquity and become clean before the Lord. And in that day that they shall exercise faith in me, saith the Lord, even as the brother of Jared did, that they may become sanctified in me, that then I will manifest unto them the things which the brother of Jared saw, even to the unfolding unto them all my revelations, said Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the Father of the heavens and of the earth, and all things that in them are. And he that will contend against the word of the Lord, let him be accursed. And he that shall deny these things, let him be accursed. For unto them will I show no greater things, said Jesus Christ. For I am he who speaketh.
That's on us, right? That verse is targeted at us, the people who mock the word of the Lord. We are accursed. Jesus isn't going to show us his ass.
I have this vision of Tomer getting to visit the United States, and on some strange Sunday, he ends up wherever I am here in the South, and that maybe he and I can go to one of those super stupid evangelical hate preacher churches.
No.
And Tomer would just giggle his way all the way through all that stupidity, and I would be soaking it up. And every time they use that, Jesus Christ!
This prophecy might come true. If it comes true, we'll be like, whoa.
I so want to go to church with Tomer.
Wow, Aaron, the first time you said I want to go to a church.
Oh, with you, yeah, that'd be with particular church. I don't want to go to a European Orthodox church. No, I want to go to a Southern Baptist or Pentecost.
Let's go down here to Arizona. Who's that exorcist guy that's evangelical that lives out
Oh,
here
you
in
mean
Arizona?
Steven Anderson?
No, he's a redheaded dude, and he's an exorcist.
What the fuck is his name? Matt Powell?
I think that might be him. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh no, there's some crazy
he's
people
full of
in
both
Arizona.
stupid and hate. He'd be extra special funny. All right, go ahead, please.
Okay. And at my command the heavens are opened and are shut. And at my word the earth shall shake. And at my command the inhabitants thereof shall pass away. Even so as by fire. And he that believeth not my words believeth not my disciples. And if it so be that I do not speak, judge ye. For ye shall know that it is I that speaketh at the last day. But he that believeth these things which I have spoken, him will I visit with the manifestations of my spirit, and he shall know and bear record. For because of my spirit he shall know that these things are true, for it persuadeth men to do good. Persuadeth.
You're gonna get it again here.
And whatsoever thing persuadeth men to do good is of me. For good cometh of none save it be of me. I am the same that leadeth men to all good.
Persuadeth and leadeth.
He that will not believe my words will not believe me. Dash! That I am. And he that will not believe me will not believe the Father who sent me. For behold, I am the Father. I am the light and the life and the truth of the world.
Anti-Mormonism.
Sorry.
Again, how do we
Damn
have
it.
Jesus standing next to God?
He is
Because
God.
that's a later legend. That's later on. It shows how clearly it's all fabricated.
There are old timer Mormons that still believe this stuff. When we say Mormons, you have to remember Bryce and I. We come through a Brighamite lens, and so we're seeing things through the Salt Lake Church. There are still people that are Trinitarian Mormons that live in other branches and stuff that don't believe this same type of thing. So they don't even believe the first vision ever happened. So that's where it gets confusing because there's so many Mormon branches and so many different Mormon beliefs and things that a lot of our angst and anger at the church or whatever is the big head honcho Salt Lake City church, but there's a lot of people that don't believe the same stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
It gets
Come unto
confusing.
me, O ye Gentiles, and I will show.
Are you sure, Tomer?
That's like the end of all of these videos, isn't it?
If they are uncircumcised, then yes.
Okay, continue.
And I will
Oh,
show
man.
unto you the greater things, the knowledge which is hid up because of unbelief. Come unto me, O ye house of Israel. That's for the circumcised.
I feel
And
like the
it-
cough was very deliberate there.
no, I actually choked it.
Tomer needs to visit the United States because he and I need to go to a
I
snake
actually
handling
did.
church.
I actually did when I was 10.
Yeah, but now, I mean, at some point in the near future, you need to come visit the States again, and let's just make an excuse so that you and I can both not just go to an evangelical mega church in Dallas, where I live, has the most mega churches of any city anywhere. We have over 90 mega churches. Okay, but what I really want to see Tomer experience is one of those southern, like Alabama, a church that's built out of a trailer, right? But one of those snake handling churches.
A trucker church, like
Snake
truck stop
handling.
church out of
What-
like a portable. Yes.
Yeah, I want somebody with a thick ass accent full of stupid out there dancing with rattlesnakes.
Arn, don't you have a
Tomer to be in the audience.
don't you have a snake that pretends to be a rattlesnake? You can have Tomer take that
I
one
do
to church.
Struck at me today. Yeah. But the snake handlers are just they're gonna tell me that I have a false faith if I show up with a bull snake.
All right, I'll read this verse again. Come unto me, O ye house of Israel, and it shall be made manifest unto you how great things the Father hath laid up for you from the foundation of the world, and it hath not come unto you because of unbelief. Behold, when ye shall rend that veil of unbelief which doth cause you to remain in your awful state of wickedness, and hardness of heart, and blindness of mind, then shall the great and marvelous things which have been hid up from the foundation of the world from you dash. Yeah, when you shall call upon the Father in my name, with a broken heart and a contrite spirit, then shall ye know that the Father hath remembered the covenant which he made unto your fathers, O house of Israel.
Well,
And
really
then-
quickly, I just want to pause there because that is one of the very few phrases out of the Book of Mormon that's actually appropriated and used in Mormon culture today is the broken heart and contrite spirit. What does that actually mean? It doesn't, there is no hard definition on this, but basically what it means is when you commit some kind of a sexual sin or whatever sin and you confess to your bishop, if you're like, yeah, no, I feel real bad about it, you clearly don't have a broken heart and contrite spirit. But if you're like, please, bishop, forgive me, groveling to the the bishop, that's when you have a truly broken heart and contrite spirit. So this is one of those things, like I highlight this only to show this is one of those verses that is weaponized against Mormons. It is not used for, for proselytization. This is not used for learning more about the spiritual gifts and the mysteries of the kingdom of God. This is one that is used to bludgeon members and force them into a groupthink ideology.
Yeah,
The way that you described this, Bryce, makes me actually look forward to the Doctrine and Covenants. I feel that just doing that show with you is going to be fun.
I'm not doing it again. I'll do Pearl of Great Price. I will not do the Doctrine and Covenants again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Fuck
Pearl
that,
of Great
yes.
Price. Is that the one that
Yes.
you were telling me before that has all of the
Yeah,
belief?
that's what will.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot
But
of fun with that book.
a contrite spirit is specifically targeting guilt. It's guilt. That's what a contrite spirit is guilt.
Yep.
You must feel guilt.
Yep. And that guilt
Good.
is created by shame. Shame. A shame for you. A shame on you for behaving the way that you did. And yeah, it's how
Okay.
abuse
We got a couple
organizations
more
work.
comments. Got a couple more comments to read. The Raven 200 offers $50. Thank you, Raven.
Wow,
It says,
Raven.
and it came to pass that I, Raven, did spake unto thee. Streetlights bend into the void, cars enveloped all. Darkness deeper than a blind man's sleep, soon to paint the world. Wait, that's Everything Went Black by the Black Dahlia Murder. Shit. Okay.
Thank you, Raven.
And
I fucking love you so much, Raven.
And then Matt White says, Aaron, any church you go to would become a snake handling church.
Yeah, if you
He'd
release
already
one in the
he'd be
wild.
bringing the snakes in, It's like, oh, you brought your own snake. That's cool.
Okay.
Okay, I'll
Continue, please.
And then shall my revelations, which I have caused to be written by my servant John, be unfolded in the eyes of all the people.
John who? John. Just John. You know John.
Revelations.
John down
No,
the street.
He's
John-
talking about revelations,
Yeah,
though.
clearly.
That's what's crazy about it, though. Is he's saying we got this book. It's the first book of the Book of Mormon. It's the last. He's referencing the last book in the Bible. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
Remember, when ye see these things, ye shall know that the time is at hand that they shall be made manifest in very deed. Very deed. Okay.
Yeah.
Therefore, when ye shall receive this record, ye may know that the work of the Father hath commenced upon all the face of the land. Therefore, repent all ye ends of the earth, and come unto me, and believe in my gospel, and be baptized in my name. For he that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. And signs shall follow them that believe in my name. And blessed is he that is found faithful unto my name at the last day, for he shall be lifted up to dwell in the kingdom prepared for him from the foundation of the world. And behold, it is I that have spoken it.
And once again, we get that believers will be saved because they believe, not because they're good, but just because they're gullible. They're so stupid that they'll believe any fucking thing I tell them.
Yep.
And unbelievers, anybody that says, hey, that's not right, they're going to hell. Everyone who knows better than me, everybody who's not too stupid to believe this, they're all going to hell.
It's code for who's the good guy, who's the real good guy. It's really secret code. It's in here. It's telling everybody. And if you're dumb enough not to know, then it's really evil and bad, but you're getting taken advantage of.
Shall we move on? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I want to point out the context in which this was written, because this is a movement that was very popular in the Western world at the time when the Book of Mormon was written, was universalism, right? We have Unitarian Universalism, the atheist church now, that grew out of Universalism at the time. And Universalists believed essentially that there's universal salvation, that everybody, just by virtue of being created by God, are saved. saved, regardless of whether or not you believe, essentially. And this is anti-universalism making its way into the Book of Mormon. And there are a lot of passages throughout this that are very clear and distinct that you have to believe, and that is what matters, and that's what makes it so you are saved. It is not so much your works, as you were saying, Gazalem. It's not so much what you're doing. It's not if you're a good person or a bad person. It's if you believe, you go to heaven. If you don't believe, you go to hell. That is the anti-universalism.
Yeah, and that's also so very Muslim. That would seem to be just lifted right out of Islam, because the Quran says over and over again that believers are the ones who do good, and that not believing is called doing evil.
There you go.
All right, so we're going to move on to Ether 5.
Oh, by the way, the rest of Ether sucks. We got through all of the really fun stuff. The rest of Ether reads just a ton like the rest of the Book of Mormon. This sucks, but we gotta.
That's fun.
We're
Thank you for saving me the shitty bit.
Well,
I'm going to read it
thankfully
anyway.
Thankfully for you, the next chapter is 6 verses long.
Okay, well let me just power through 6 fucking verses, and I'll try to give it all the gravitas that I can. And now, I, Moroni, have written the words which were commanded me according to my memory, and I have told you the things which I have sealed up. Therefore, touch them, not in order that ye may translate, for that thing is forbidden you, except by, and by it shall be, wisdom of God. Except by, and by it shall be wisdom in God. What? Okay, anyway. Yeah. And behold, ye may be privileged, that ye may show the plates unto those who shall assist to bring forth this work. And unto 3 shall be known by the power of God. Wherefore they shall know of a surety that these things are true.
Oh, and those 3, are you like, oh, biblical prophets? Is this an allusion to other biblical prophets? No, Martin Harris, David Whitmer, and Oliver Cowdery, the people who are conning everybody.
Joseph Smith is making prophecy come true, right in his own book.
And in the month of 3 witnesses shall these things be established, and the testimony of 3, and this work, in which shall be shown forth to the people the power of God, and also his word, of which the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost bear record. Go ask him if you don't believe me. And all this shall stand as a testimony against the world at the last day. And if it be so, if it so be, let me just try to correct it. And if it so be that they repent and come unto the Father in the name of Jesus, they shall be received into the kingdom of God. And now, if I have no authority for these things, judge ye, for ye shall know that I have authority when ye shall see me, and we shall stand before God at the last day.
Whoa.
Amen.
All right. So
I love the threat. You're gonna know. You'll see. You'll see. That's what this is.
Yeah, you'll
right?
see.
Exactly.
See.
And importantly, right? So that's a weird chapter, right? That was the entire chapter that Aaron just read. That was the entire thing. And that's the chapter breaks from the original 1830, right?
Moroni.
That is clearly written by the author who is trying to convince Martin Harris to fund the publication of the Book of Mormon by writing prophecies about Martin Harris for him being one of the 3 witnesses right there. So this is the testimony of the 3 witnesses that's contained in the back of the original 1830 Book of Mormon. It's contained in the front of all the modern ones, right? So this is one of those prophecies that Joe wrote with a very clear and explicit motive to get Martin Harris to pony up the money to publish this book. And that's why it reads so different from everything that we just read. And it's like, why are we talking what the witnesses and the proof and the like, where does this come from? It seems so unrelated to all of the content around it or preceding it. Yeah, it's got an agenda.
So who's going to read Ether 6?
Me.
Hey, I think
please.
it's my turn to start.
Hey,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
it
got,
said that this
you
is
got
the boring
30
part.
verses, Gazalem.
And I'm at the boring part, so I might as well. And I'm in chapter 3 for me.
Arn,
I see comments. Yeah.
you have a few
This is back to
messages
narrative,
to
though,
read.
so this is
Arn.
more interesting.
Yes.
Okay. The Raven 200 says, yeah, Bryce, the Black Dahlia Murder is one of my favorite death metal bands. It still doesn't feel doesn't feel real that Trevor I don't know how to pronounce that. Stranad is dead.
Yeah. His highs, oh my God, they are, I mean, groundbreaking. Like, I think there are only a few vocalists at Trevor Stranad's level. Like Travis Ryan is one of those, and like very few rise to that level. And yeah, I totally resonate with you, Raven. It's like that was a huge loss for the community. Him and Mitch Lucker, like those two, like they died way too early.
The Unlucky Legume offers $5 and says, Aaron, if you're going to be in Philadelphia this weekend, I would love to buy dinner for you and Lalandra if you have time and would be willing. Sadly, largely because of dogs and snakes, Lalandra will not be able to join me in Philadelphia. I will be alone for that one. Normally, she travels with me, and that is my preference. But this time, I'm going to be alone. So, but I'd be happy to accept. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I will be there till Monday. So, yeah, you want to do dinner? Find someplace spicy, and I love Indian, just as an example.
And Unlucky Legume has really great content too. If you check out their YouTube channel.
Yeah, I would just be happy to meet. Just be happy to meet. It doesn't matter if it doesn't have to be Indian. It doesn't have to be chicken wings or whatever you like. Okay, and then Deconverted Man, and thank you, by the way, Unlucky Legume. I appreciate the offer. Deconverted Man says, for the low price of your brain.
Yeah.
I love that. You too can gain salvation. Only we sell it at such a low price, you would be crazy to go anywhere else and be saved. Our deals are heavenly. Love that. And then Bruno Zeigertz offers $5, Canadian. And it came to pass that it was a successful touchdown.
Other Sunday night activities, I think.
Yeah, I don't get football. Anyway, I know so little about football that I couldn't even tell you who plays goalie for the Globetrotters. All right, continue on. Tomer?
You want Gazalem to read it, or do you want me to read it?
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
Tomer,
sorry.
I
It is
can go that
Gazalem
one.
this time. I'm sorry. My apologies.
And now I Moroni, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Back to the narrative.
And now I Moroni, proceeding to give a record of Jared and his brother. For it came to pass, after that the Lord had prepared the stones, which the brother Jared had carried up into the mount. That's weird because it's into the mount, right? It's inside it.
You have to go inside Mount Doom.
Mahanrai Moriantkamer came down out of the mount, and he did put forth the stones into the vessels, which
Hold
were
on a second.
prepared.
Hold on. Does yours actually say Markham or whatever?
That would be great.
Have you been following along this whole time, Aaron? Are you sure?
I know that your version, being older, says shit that ours don't.
Yeah, it definitely should say that in there.
Okay.
But alas,
Just to clarify who this person is.
it's so weird to have the main guy just called Brother Jared the
whole time. The whole book. Like, come on, man.
I mean,
And
it's
also,
kind of like
why
that in
is
the
it
Bible.
why is it the book of Ether? when the hell does Ether actually show up to be the author of this book? Like, we're not getting any cues or any clues to find the great identity of the elusive Ether.
Yeah.
We're just got the brother of Jared.
Yeah, no spoilers. And thus the Lord, that's where we're at, right? And thus the Lord,
Huh?
it's split up here, caused the stones to shine in the darkness, to give light unto men, women, and children, that they may not cross the great waters in darkness. And it came to pass that they had prepared all manner of food, that thereby they might subsist on the water and the
Subsist.
food. Subsist upon the water. So they're bringing fresh water with them in the submarines.
Yep.
And also food for the flocks.
Submarines with water
Water
and
in them.
tumbling humans and elephants and bees
And
mice.
food and flocks and herds and whatever beasts or animals or fowl, and they should carry.
Did they
with
really
them.
not say anything about fins on the submarine? No method of steering at all?
No.
What is the method of propulsion? They're certainly not using sails, now are they?
Wait, they're gonna tell us. They're gonna tell us here.
Oh, I thought the answer is God, but
Just wait,
No,
just
it's
wait.
coming up. It's coming up.
okay.
Compressed
And
flatulence.
And
They
it
have
came
the
to
holes.
pass. We
was the
finally
perfect line to follow.
discovered them.
It came to pass was the perfect line to follow. Compressed flatulence.
And now we know the meaning of the holes in the bottom and the front. And it came to pass that when they had done all these things, they got aboard of their vessels, even though they were as tight as a dish. How do you get in that? Through the
They don't go a lot into detail, do they? Does the door screw down tight? I mean,
you have to tighten it from the inside, I guess. And they got aboard their vessels or barges, and they set forth into the sea, commanding themselves unto the Lord their God. And it came to pass that the Lord their God caused that there should be a furious wind blown upon the face of the waters towards the promised land, that they were tossed upon the waves of the sea before the wind. And it came to pass that they were many times buried in the depths of the sea. These are our submarines. Because of the great mountain waves which broke upon them, and also the great and terrible tempests which were caused by the fierceness of the wind. So there's your answer, Tomer. Wind and waves.
Wind and waves.
Yeah,
Thanks to God.
yeah.
God just
Power
did a
of
little Monty
God.
Python.
Yeah.
And it came to pass that when they were buried in the deep, there was no water that could hurt them. So they had some really pressurized vehicles here. That there was no water that could hurt them, their vessels being tight like unto a dish.
Thank you for reminding us how they look like. I couldn't remember. I mean, I was
And
skipping after this, but yeah.
And also they were tight like unto the Ark of Noah.
That
What?
other biblical submarine.
Oh, why is that relevant? Like, oh, the Ark of Noah. Remember that?
And we have 8 of them. Noah only had 1.
And what does that mean? Tight like unto the Ark of Noah. In what sense tight means?
You
They
missed
didn't
that part in the
leak,
Bible.
apparently.
They didn't make it.
They didn't leak. Okay, so you could have said
Ask
that.
Ben Ham about the leaky ark. You know,
Yeah,
he'll
Gazalem,
tell you it's tight.
you might be off on that number too, because I don't know how many times they've found the Ark of Noah, but I'm pretty sure we've passed 8.
Oh, okay. So maybe there are more arts of Noah as well. So
I'm
They were
currently
actually finding
in a debate
Jaredite
with a Muslim. I'm currently in a debate with a Muslim who insists that the Jeripinar site is the actual Noah's Ark, despite the fact that even Answers in Genesis and the Discovery Institute both say that no, that isn't the fucking ark.
I can do you one better, Arn. Kent Hovind is going to build an ark, and unlike Ken Ham, he doesn't need millions. He only needs 15,000 to complete it. Not kidding. This is
My parents went to.
That's going to be a death trap.
Ark made of
Could be
water
literal because
Philippines?
people have died on the.
Yeah, more ways to
on-
kill your kids. Come to Dinosaur Adventureland.
The
Yeah,
new
sure,
adventure park.
Sure, the child drowned, but the rest of the family had a great time.
Yeah.
My parents went to Armenia on their mission, so they came home with all kinds of Ark souvenirs and stuff because of the mountain over there.
Uh-huh. Let me read another comment while I'm here. Matthew K says, the brother of Jared has disappeared into the ether, for it came to pass that the Lord thy God made it so, and it shall remain unknown. It shall remain unknown to man, for the Lord thy God is vague as fuck.
That vagueness
another
will
one-
come up with the brother.
And then
Jared.
another comment just came up. Deconverted Man says, if you make a shirt saying, ask me about my leaky ark, I will buy it.
You filthy people.
Or just tie like unto a dish, right? Like it can mean so many things.
Continue, Gazalem.
Therefore, when they were encompassed about the many waters, they did cry unto the Lord, and he did bring them forth again upon the top of the waters. So we went
I
from the
love that. There's
bottom to the top.
submarines that go down, and they're like, "God, please save us." He's like, "Okay, I'll bring you back up."
What kind of
And it
ballast
came-
are they using?
God, that's the balance.
And it came to pass that the wind did never cease to blow towards the promised land, which they
So
were
they
upon
are
the water.
using sails?
No, it's just
No.
God blowing on the walnuts. And thus they were driven forth before the wind, and they did sing praises unto the Lord. Yea, the brother of Jared did sing praises unto the Lord, and he did thank the praise and praise the Lord all the day long. And when the night came, they did not cease to praise the Lord.
Okay, all right.
Oh, the
so,
praises.
Very, very briefly. So this is our scene. We have people, we have animals, we have flocks. This is probably why they brought flocks with them, to throw them out for ballast when they need to gain some elevation, right? So they're being tossed and turned on the sea. It's being blown about by tempests. They are praying all day and all night. And the wind never ceased to blow them towards the promised land, America, upstate New York, where they land. So that is the scene that we have. And soon it's going to tell us how long this scene persisted.
I'm just
So-
surprised that, I mean, even in the early 19th century, Joseph Smith could have come up with a mechanism by which this device could move through the water, even if it was, like a corkscrew configuration on the front and back of this boat. If it were not walnut shaped, if it were, like more streamlined than that, and have a corkscrew shape on the front and the back that is, I don't know, the people on board, because there's a lot of people on board. Maybe they're all sitting on like bicycle pedals, because bicycles existed then, right? You just use that mechanism. Everybody pedal along, and that would have made a more convincing story. But I'm expecting Jules Verne out of Joseph Smith.
It did say something about them kind of pointing to the tips or something. I can't remember.
Yeah,
But we have to think of these. There's two glowing stones of a man and a woman, maybe if they have kids, and then all these animals, including fish and fresh water in this walnut.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fresh water. A whole
Tumbling
bunch
around.
of fresh water. Yeah.
Because that's what you need in a submarine, to fill it with water.
Yeah, pretty much. They brought with them the fowls as well. You got
Yeah,
birds in
brilliant.
there.
Fish. They have fish in there.
We have fish in there.
So if we had a problem with methane poisoning in the ark,
That's what the
how
holes
much
are for.
worse
That's
would
what
it be?
the holes are for. See? See? Ether thought about this.
And thus they were driven forth, and no monster of the sea could break them.
Fuck you,
Neither
Kraken.
well could mar them. And they did have light continuously, wherefore it was above the water, or under the water. And thus they were driven forth 344 days upon the water.
344 days.
A year across the water. This journey took a year. Now, just for instance, if the world froze over, the oceans froze over, and you could walk across it, you could cross the Atlantic in about a month and a half of walking. Them being blown by gale force winds, it says tempests, by God, never ceasing to go towards the promised land. It took them a year to cross the Atlantic Ocean.
Well,
You know why?
Well, it did take the Israelites 40 years to get to Israel, so
You're right, and that's a
God is a
2-week
bad
walk.
navigator.
And you keep
They
forgetting,
hadn't
Bryce.
invented the Leahona yet.
Bryce, you keep forgetting. One day for God is as 1,000 years. So there's that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So this was just the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So remember that we're in a submarine that's shaped like a walnut.
Yeah.
Which isn't
Flat
going to
like
be
a disc.
receiving
We need to remember that, flat like a disc,
Tight like a dish. Tight like a
Slightly
dish.
different thing.
tight like a I'm tipsy. I think
So-
I went to tipsy.
Flat
So the
like a
wind
disc is the
isn't
earth,
gonna have
Tomer.
a-
You're confused.
the wind isn't going to have a lot of effect here.
No, it's going to spin them, right? A wind blowing on something that's spherical or an oblate on top of the surface tension of water is going to just spin. That's all it's going to
Now, how much fun would that be
do. With the bears
inside and with all those animals?
and elephants and mice and bees, and snakes.
I've been on one of those rides at City of Fun Carnival. You just-
Wait, where did it? They're
Circle.
loading up in North America, right? Where did they get the elephants?
No, they brought them over from Jerusalem.
Didn't Job
That's-
talk about an elephant? Right?
That's how the mammoths got here. Don't you know how the mammoths
Right.
got to America?
Kiraloms and Cumoms.
You know, I just have to remember how many people in my family read this and think, oh, they brought elephants from North America to Europe or Asia.
And how did the elephants fit into the hole in the top or bottom of the barge? How big are the holes to get all the or did they just build the barges around the elephant herds? How? See, like that's the problem. Any way you analyze this logistically, it's a nightmare. I used to drive a truck, and like this used to be my life. Is like, how do I, meaningfully pack my truck so I can fit the most stuff in to make the least trips possible? And how did they do this? It's a logistical nightmare.
I can
But
tell
see,
you.
the problem is
Bryce, I can
every
tell you
time
how
we're
they did
like,
this.
every time we think, how did this happen? We get the passages of like, oh, well, God commanded me not to write it down. Sucks
Exactly.
to be you.
Oh no, I thought the answer was God, but no.
Well, yeah,
No, here's
answer
the
is God,
answer.
and we can't write it down.
You have the open door, the portal to the submarine.
Yeah.
And you just back the elephant up to the door before you go underwater. And then the elephant becomes your cork.
Oh, that's brilliant. Brilliant.
And propulsion when it farts.
Yeah.
All the methane propulsion.
Yes.
Listen, that's why we've been teasing this shit for a year and a half of doing this project. The wooden submarines, it's so bonkers. It's so insane.
My
glowing
family
stones.
told me to read this book because it would convince me to become Mormon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're not done yet. We have Moroni's promise coming up. So until that happens and until you have actually performed it, then
That's right.
there's hope for you, Aaron. And thus they were driven forth 40 days I fell behind here. And when they had set their feet upon the shores of the promised land, they bowed themselves down upon the face of the land, and did humble themselves unto the Lord, and did shed tears of joy before the Lord, because of the multitudes of his tender mercies over them.
Aw,
It's
so
like
merciful.
mouse trap. They come out of these things just covered in shit.
Oh God, can you imagine? It'd be like being tossed in one of those porta potty things.
And thus
it came to
Jackass was born. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it came to pass that when they went forth upon the face of the land, and began to till the earth, and Jared had 4 sons, and they were called Jachem, and Gilgah, and Maha, and Ariha. And the brother of Jared also begat sons and daughters,
Oh, good
and
to know.
the friends of Jared and his brother were in number of 20 and 2 souls, one each of the Hebrew alphabet.
So I just gotta wonder, what a darling baby boy. Let's name him Gilgah
Or
or
Jachem.
Maha.
I would prefer that over Mohan Rai Moriankamer, though. Let's a little context.
Hey, Mahan is a badass name.
Mahon.
And they also begat sons and daughters before they came to the promised land, and therefore they began to be many. So there were a lot of people on those 8 boats, 8 submarines.
22 souls, right? So it's and the friends of Jared and his brothers were in number about 20 and 2 souls. So that's the foundation we're working with. 22 people came over on the wooden submarines with their flocks and herds and swarms of bees, landed in the promised land. That is how many people we have to work with. And this is prior to modern medicine, prior to modern fertility rates.
The first Americans.
A few chapters.
This is when the infant mortality rate is the norm.
I mean,
right?
the norm as in like above 50.
As in more kids are going to die before they're 1 year old than live.
Yeah. Yes, that is correct. And population growth is somewhere between 0.2 and 0.4% historically at this time before modern medicine. Once we have modern medicine, modern birthing techniques, that's when fertility rates reach about 1 to 2%. And in developing countries, sometimes as high as like 4 and 5%. But like this is at a time pre-modern medicine. Population growth statistics, as best historians can estimate, is between 0.2 and 0.4% growth.
Hold on before we continue. Matt White said something I love. Says, Bryce, clearly they didn't bring full-grown elephants into these submarines, just elephant eggs.
Yeah.
That could be true.
Do continue.
I'm wondering, Arn, when they reached the land, did Gilga help set up the enclosures for the animals with and made wire fences and called it Gilgamesh?
Shut up, Peter. God, you annoying Dutchman.
You have to have children to tell dad jokes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they were taught humbly before the Lord, to walk humbly before the Lord. And they were also taught from on high. And it came to pass that they began to spread upon the face of the land, and to multiply until the earth. And they did wax strong in the land. And the brother of Jared began to be old, and saw that he must soon go down to the grave. Therefore he saith unto Jared, let us gather together our people, that we may number them, that we may know of them, that they will desire of us to go forth to our graves. And according to the people were gathered together, now the number of the sons and the daughters of the brothers of Jared were 22 souls, and the numbers of the sons and the daughters of Jared were 12, he having 4 sons. And it came to pass that they did number their people, and after that they had numbered them.
Again.
They did desire of them the things which they would that they should do before they went down to their graves. And it came to pass that the people desired of them that they should anoint one of their sons to be king over them.
Hold
And
on
now
just a second. Hold on just a second. Instead of the would that they should, no, they did do would that they should. So this is the same guy who uses that verse we never see anywhere else.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Clearly. Yep.
And now behold, this was grievous unto them that they had no king. But the brother of Jared said unto them, surely this thing leadeth to captivity. But Jared said unto his brother, suffereth them that they may have a king. And therefore he said unto them, choose ye out from among our sons a king, even whom ye will.
And really quickly, just acknowledging the context in which this is written. This is the conflict of loyalists versus federalists, right? People who were loyal to the crown and wanted a king instated in the colonies, and the people who wanted to break off and create America as its own standalone sovereign. This is just rehashing the American tradition, and that's, you know, a lot of Mormons read this and they're like, "Oh, this is prophesying of America because we don't have kings here." So, just acknowledge, like, this is clearly written in the early 1800s. That's all I'm saying.
I gotta take a break real quick. Someone else take over.
Me.
All right,
me,
what,
me, 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 me.
okay, wait, hold on a second. What verse are you on?
24.
24.
Page 550, midway through chapter 3.
25.
25.
Yeah, 25.
25.
You're right.
Okay, go ahead, Toner.
Oh, maybe you read.
But
actually.
stop after the first sentence.
No, actually, you read. Because I want to.
And it came to pass that they chose even the firstborn of the brother of Jared, and his name was Pagag.
Pagag.
And it came to pass that he refused and would not be their king. And the people
Pagag's a
would,
noble leader.
and the people would that his father should constrain him, but his father would not. And he commanded them that they should constrain no man to be their king. Don't force me to be king. And it came to pass that they chose all the brothers of Pagag, and they would not. And it came to pass that neither would the sons of Jared, even all, save it were one, and Orihah was anointed king over the people. And he began to reign, and the people began to prosper, and they became exceedingly rich.
Yes.
And it came to pass. Where was I?
29.
And it came to pass that Jared died, and his brother also.
Oh, R.I.P.
Oh, no.
Mahonri Moriankamer, the most powerful prophet of the Book of Mormon. He's gone.
And it came to pass that Orihah did walk humbly before the Lord, and did remember how great things the Lord and he remember how great things the Lord had done for his father.
Yes, you read that right.
'Cause that's English. And also taught his people how great things the Lord had done for their fathers. Joseph Smith only spoke English, right?
Barely.
Shakespearean
Citation
English.
needed.
Yeah.
I think it's the racist thing. How, on the old movies, how all the Native Americans.
I
Okay.
mean, maybe.
It's really
Okay.
bad.
Shadow 7, and I'm gonna finish my cup.
Did you say you're going to finish your commentary?
In the cup. I'm fully drunk now. There we go.
I like how young men will take like a little sip of beer or whatever and say, "Oh, I'm so drunk," and then older guys like me, polish off a bottle of rum and I'm fine.
Yeah, because you're old. So
I will say, I will not recommend playing And It Came to Pass drinking game with scotch. Not a great idea.
Oh no, that sounds bad.
okay. Ether 7. And it came to pass that Oriha did execute judgment upon the land in righteousness all his days, whose days were exceedingly many. And he begat sons and daughters. Yeah, he begat 31, among whom were 23 sons.
Holy
And it came-
shit. Poor wife. 31 babies? That's got to be some kind of a record. Oh my God.
Or maybe he had multiple wives.
Yeah, see,
Either that or this woman is
tapping
dropping
into a
out.
big argument among Mormon fundamentalists. Like, hey, he could only have 30. Sorry,
Either that
23
woman was
sons,
cranking out
31
triplets.
kids.
She was cranking out triplets every year.
I guess. Free modern medicine.
Yeah. And he begat the sons and daughters. Oh yeah, I read that one. And it came to pass that he also begat Kib in his old age.
Agag and Kib.
Pagag. Yeah. And it came to pass that Kib reigned in his stead. And Kib begat Korihor. Is that the same Korihor like the Antichrist Korihor?
You remembered the Korihor.
Because
No, this
because
is
it's
clearly
Korihor.
because this is spelled with a C instead of a K.
That's a big point.
Oh,
The Egyptian versus the
okay.
Islamic that you're gonna need to get right, Tomer. Not
That's
Oh.
a big point though, because those names are Jaredite names, and when we look at the black evil Gadiantons type of stuff that gets passed on through the Jaredites into the Nephites, this thread comes through those names of the Korihor Jaredites and the connection with how Korihor was the lineage of the Jaredites. There's some secret code in there.
Have we ever had a believing Mormon watch a single episode of this show?
I would hope so. I would hope that there are some who stumble on this or like, oh, I'm studying Ether for next Sunday Gospel Doctrine class. I'm gonna see what other scripture studies have done on YouTube about this, and they stumble on this. That would be great. They would get 5 minutes in and be like, no, frick this. This is bad.
I've invited a few people that I know are TBMs and said, please, I think you would be really good for this, and yeah, to no avail.
Yeah, to no avail. Gotcha.
And really quickly, back to the
Historians and
text.
apologists too. So
And really quickly, I just want to keep track of this in the commentary, right? So we have Jared and his son, right? So we have the Jaredites who came over. That's the first generation who landed in America on their submarines. Then we have Pagag, who is the second generation. And now we have Oriha, who is the third generation. So I'm just going to silently keep track of the generations before we get to the population statistics coming up later.
So it's not Korihor the Antichrist, right?
No, that's a K. That's Korihor with a K.
Okay. Just to make clear, because I don't
all we're
want
just
to
saying is
pronounce-
that those Jaredite names made it into later stuff into the
Okay,
Book of
okay,
Mormon.
Okay. And when Korihor was 32 years old, he rebelled against his father and went over and dwelt. Wait a minute. That's the same. Wait a minute. That's the same story. Right? I mean, I'm not getting crazy here, right? It's the land of Nihor. It's the same story.
Wasn't Nihor a person though in Alma? I thought
Yeah,
Nihor
his
was a
name was
person, not a place.
Nihor, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that? It sounds so similar. Like
Yeah.
I'm remembering stuff from before.
So where is the land of Nihor? Is that in the Americas or is that in
Yes.
in?
It's probably Jersey.
Okay, so we just took submarines. Wait, help me understand this.
Yeah.
The submarines, that was not the first group that came over, right?
That was the first.
Yeah.
That is okay. So Tower of Babel was about to fall. Brother of Jared goes to God and says, "Don't confound our languages, please, God. Let us keep speaking and writing Adamic." And God was like, "Hey, Mahonri Moriankamer, you're awesome. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a promised land. That promised land is called Murica, and it's fucking awesome. You go build some submarines, put them out on the water. I'm gonna take
Get some
year
magic
to blow
stones.
you across. Yes, and with the lighting up stones, I'm gonna take a year to blow you across the Atlantic Ocean, and they land in upstate New York. That is where we are. That is the setting, and now we are 3
No,
generations
Chile.
into.
They're in Chile. Sorry.
No, that's Lee Heights. The Lee Heights landed in Chile.
Oh, okay,
They
How the
navigated.
fuck they
You're
get
right,
to
you're right.
Chile?
Because
that
they
was-
could.
That's the
We already
Nephite.
read
Yeah,
that.
you're right.
That was the
Yeah,
beginning
we-
of the book.
Yeah, that was the Nephite thing. Sorry for
Oh.
confusing
Okay, so
everybody.
I'm so confused.
So now,
because
so
I-
we are
I
3
thought-
generations deep into the Jaredites who are settling in America. That is their promised land.
So when they made the original trek many chapters ago, they were supposed to be on ships, right?
Chapters
Didn't
or
it-
books
didn't it
ago.
Yeah,
imply
and,
that they-
and Nephi and Lehi.
They
and
built
Nephi,
boats,
Yeah.
right?
Lehi
Yeah.
built Nephi built one boat that brought Lehi and his family over. They navigated across the Pacific Ocean and landed in Chile.
The Pacific.
Yes, the Pacific.
The Pacific
The Pacific Ocean.
from Israel
Yes.
to North
On a
America
boat.
Yes.
on the Pacific.
Yes. And then we saved the submarines for the shorter trip across the Atlantic. That still took a
how did
fucking
they-
year.
How did they
With
get,
wind and waves. Wind and
how did
waves.
they get to the Pacific?
What
With
is it?
boats.
What is it? Down to the
Well, they
Red
traveled for,
Sea
like,
and
a
then
long
out into
time.
the Indian Ocean and all the way across.
Tomer, how would you get from where you are to the Pacific?
With a plane.
Airplane.
With a plane.
Fastest way, I guess. I mean, if we were talking about a boat, then maybe with the Panama Canal that would be possible, right?
Was the Panama Canal around? What was it? How many years ago was this?
In like the 19th century, I guess.
Panama
Way
Canal
before
is
Joe.
1950s.
Let's
It's the
let's
20th
just
century.
take out the fact that the Pacific is like half the globe.
Yes.
So just a ridiculous distance.
So we're just
Let's
ignoring
also
that
remember that to get from
Sorry.
Israel to the Pacific, that's a trek.
Yeah.
Good
You're-
thing we
that's-
had submarines and to be able to go the other route because
The
I'm sorry
submarines
for
would have
bringing
to
up
be
the
on
Lehigh
tank
thing.
tread
So
to get to
all
the
right.
Pacific.
So very specifically, that's why we have Book of Mormon apologists saying we have Nahum, NHM, which has actually been discovered in, I think, in Saudi Arabia, that is named in the Book of Mormon, and that is the land through which Lehi's family journeyed before they built the boat in the land of Bountiful, right? On the banks of the Red Sea, and that is where the family of Lehi departed from, navigated down through the Indian Ocean, through the Pacific Ocean, all the way across, landed in Argentina. That's the very
It just
first book.
strikes
That is
me-
First Nephi, chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, it just strikes me that if they're trying to get from Israel to say Spain, would it not be a little bit insane to go by way of Japan?
It'll be more
would be.
adventurous.
Okay, I am so lost. This book is so full of stupid.
Okay.
At least it saved the craziest shit for the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll continue. And he begat sons and daughters, and they became exceedingly fair. Wherefore
Ooh.
Koriho drew away many people after him. And when he had gathered together an army, he came up unto the land of Moron.
It
Ah.
exists.
Yeah, where the king dwelt.
Look,
took
all
him
right, that is a
captive.
great slight against someone when it's like, hey, I just stepped into land of stupid and you're the mayor. That's what Joe wrote.
I
He went to
know.
the land of
He
moron with the
really was
king.
doing it.
Yeah.
It's right in the face. It's like right in your face.
And took him captive, which brought to pass the saying of the brother of Jared that they would be brought into captivity. Now the land of Moron, where the king dwelt, was near the was near the land which is called Desolation by the Nephites. And it
North
came to
America.
pass, yeah, that Kib dwelt in captivity, and his people under Koriho, his son, until he became exceedingly old. Nevertheless, Kib begat Shule in his old age, while while he was yet in captivity. I mean, if you remove the E, you get Shul, which, if I remember correctly, is something in Judaism.
It's
Yeah, it's
pronounced
a
shul in
synagogue.
Mormonism, right? Like we pronounce it shul
Ah,
in reading the Book of Mormon, not shule. So yeah,
it's a
Wait,
synagogue basically.
the people who escaped Israel in submarines dwelt in captivity.
no.
Is that
So
not an important part of the story to include? Why are they in captivity?
the important part is that the people wanted a king, but the brother of Jared was so righteous. He was like, well, you can, if you really want a king, you can name one of my sons to be king. And all of his sons rejected the proposal. All of his sons were like, no, we don't want kings here. And then all of Jared's sons were like, no, we don't want kings here. And eventually Oriha was the guy who stepped up to the plate and I was
The
like,
only
hey,
person to
I'm
step
going to
up.
be king. And then now we have the beginning of the fracturing of the Jaredites, which is eventually catalyzing into two competing populations that are at war with each other. That's where we're getting.
Okay.
No kings.
And we are
I'm
four generations in. Four
I'm
generations.
actually more lost than when we start this book.
Yeah, this is a crazy ass book. Ether is an insane book. Straight up.
I got to read another comment before Tomer continues. Matt White says, Bryce, you seem to have forgotten the Emperor of America, Joshua Norton, the first,
Yeah.
Oh
died in San
yeah.
Francisco around the time of Mark Twain, Samuel L. Clemens.
Yeah, we love you, Joshua Norton. He had his
Emperor
own
of America?
currency. Yeah, he
Yeah.
only had his own currency and everything.
And people loved him.
I love Josh Norton. I'm a Discordian, so
Okay, I'll continue. And it came to pass that Shule was angry with his brother, and Shule waxed strong and became mighty as the strength of a man. And he was also mighty in judgment.
Oh, and
Well,
really quickly, now in captivity, Aaron, you asked about this earlier, right? So now because a king has been established, now the king has turned evil, he's become corrupted, and he is keeping the righteous, believing Christians in captivity now. He has slaves, and the slaves happen to be the white and delightsome Christians. I say that it's important as we continue going through the generations.
Okay.
wherefore he came to the hill Ephraim, and he did molten Ephraim. No, it's Ephraim.
No, how dare you? This is the Book of Mormon. We
Ephraim.
pronounce it the Mormons do.
Ephraim and
Ephraim.
Manasseh.
I'm part of the tribe of Ephraim. How
I'm from
dare
the
you
tribe of
slight me,
Ephraim
not
too.
Tomer?
Well, Bryce, you're just wrong. And he did molten. And he did molten out of the hill and made swords out of steel for those whom he had drawn away
Whoa,
with him.
still swords, 2000
swords.
BC.
In America, steel swords, baby.
Yeah, they were very advanced. They already had nuclear weapons.
4,000 years ago in America.
And after he had armed them with swords, he returned to the city Nihor and gave battle unto his brother Korihor, by which means he obtained the kingdom and restored it unto his father Kib. And now, because of the thing which Shule had done, his father bestowed upon him the kingdom. Therefore, he began to reign in the stead of his father. And it came to pass that he did execute judgment in righteousness, and he did spread his kingdom upon all the face of the land, for the people had become exceedingly numerous. And it came to pass that Shule also begat many sons and daughters. And Koriho repented of the many evils which he had done. Wherefore Shule gave him power in his kingdom. And it came to pass that Koriho had many sons and daughters, and among the sons of Koriho there was one whose name was Noah, not the Noah that we know of. And it came to pass that Noah rebelled against Shule, the king, and also his father Koriho, and drew away Koho, his brother.
Cohor,
Kohor.
Korihor and
Ko-
Cohor.
Cohor.
Two different bad guys.
And also all his brethren and many of the people. And he gave battle unto Shule, the king, if you did not remember, in which he did obtain the land of their first inheritance. And he became a king over that part of the land. And it came to pass that he gave battle again unto Shule, the king, again, if you did not remember. And he took Shule, the king, again, because you have very short term memory, and carried him away captive into Moron. And it came to
Yeah.
pass, as he was about to put him to death, the sons of Shule crept into the house of Noah by night and slew him, and broke down the door of the prison, and brought out their father, and placed him upon his throne in his kingdom.
That's
Wherefore the
called a
son of
coup, right? You
Yeah.
have an established government, and then a little faction comes in, slays the king in his sleep, and then installs their preferred candidate. That's called a coup.
Drag him in and throw him on the throne.
Good fun.
Nuts.
Yeah. Wherefore the son of Noah did build up his kingdom in his stead. Nevertheless, they did not gain power any more over Shule the king. And the people who were under the reign of Shule the king did prosper exceedingly, and waxed great. Not strong, but great. And the country was divided. And there were two kingdoms, the kingdom of Shule and the kingdom of Koho, the son of Noach. And Koho, the son of Noach, if you did not remember, caused that his people should give battle unto Shule, in which Shule did beat them and did slay Koho. And now Koho had a son who was called Nimrod. And
Nimrod. Yep. Nimrod, baby. We had Moron and Nimrod.
I mean, Nimrod is actually a Hebrew name.
It is, but it's also like a great, like,
In the Book of
hey,
Mormon.
hey, stop being a Nimrod, you old chum.
Which is odd because Nimrod was considered like a mighty man in the land, which I have no idea how they got like Nimrod to be an okay.
It got Americanized. That's
Yeah,
how language
exactly.
works.
Yeah. And Nimrod gave up the kingdom of Koho unto Shule, and he did gain favor in the eyes of Shule. Wherefore, Shule did bestow great favors upon him, and he did do in the kingdom of Shule according to his desires. And also in the reign of Shule, there came prophets among the people who were sent from the Lord, prophesying that the wickedness and idolatry of the people was bringing a curse upon the land, and they should be destroyed
Yeah.
if they did not repent. And it came to pass that the people did revile against the prophets and did mock them. And it came to pass that King Shule did execute judgment against all those who did revile against the prophets. And he did execute a law throughout all the land, which gave power unto the prophets that they should go whithersoever they would. And by this cause the people were brought into repentance. And because the people did repent of their iniquities and idolatries, the Lord did spare them, and they began to prosper again in the land. And it came to pass that Shule begat sons and daughters in his old age. And there were no more wars in the days of Shule, And he remembered the great things that the Lord had done for his fathers in bringing them across the great deep into the promised land. Wherefore, he did execute judgment in righteousness all his days.
Yay.
So I'm glad I got in at the last good couple chapters there before we hit the bagat.
I got a comment from Winter's Scoop, who says in 1910, H. Goddard, in his intelligence testing for his eugenics beliefs, took the Greek word moros, meaning foolish or stupid, and invented the word moron to its modern use.
Huh.
Yep. Same with
Yeah,
Nimrod,
and
right?
Tomer
Nimrod
seems to be
wasn't a thing
really
until later.
Tomer seems to be very, very fluent in American culture. I mean, he even knew the old commercial from the 70s. I've fallen and I can't get up. Somehow Tomer knew that,
That was
but
in
he
the
wasn't
80s.
aware that Nimrod was a derogatory
I
pejorative.
knew that. I knew that actually, but I said that it
Okay.
is weird because in the Bible, Nimrod is like a mighty man, a gibor in Hebrew. So it was just struck me odd that Nimrod means moron. Like it's just
Yeah,
it was odd
I,
for me.
I can see how that would be a little confusing. A friend of mine was pointing out what his favorite character in history was this vicious Roman soldier who was very successful campaigns and just a really great military campaign soldier, but his name was Scipio.
Oh, Scipio was actually him.
Yep.
But with that name,
Yeah.
may as well be called Biggest Dickus.
He has a wife, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Bryce. Okay, so and then Matt White says, Bryce, time was that meant to say Tomer?
Maybe.
Bryce, timer. It was indeed Bugs Bunny who changed Nimrod from a great hunter into an assault.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. I remember the Bugs Bunny.
Hey,
stuff.
Nimrod. Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What a nin-cow poop. What an oxymaroon. Okay.
Pronounce it
And then Winter's
oxymormon.
Scoop says, yes, Nimrod was a great hunter. Bugs Bunny used what a Nimrod as an ironic insult.
Yay,
People who
Bugs
didn't know
Bunny.
Nimrod was a hunter mistook it for moronic. Mistook it as
Excellent.
moronic. Okay.
Excellent.
Cool.
Is it Bugs Bunny?
Wascally Wabbit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I'm reading from Etimo Online, which reads that the word came to mean geek or klutz by 1983 in teenager slang for unknown reasons. Amateur theories include its occasional use in Bugs Bunny cartoon episodes featuring rabbit hunter Elmer Fudd as a foil, its alleged ironic use among hunters for a clumsy member of their fraternity, or a stereotype of deer hunters by the non-hunting population in the U.S. Wow. I mean,
We'll
geek.
bring back to the Discordia and the chaos stuff because
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny was a trickster.
Hmm.
There you go.
Oh, and by the way, do you know when the peak use of Nimrod came to be? When it was?
Okay. When?
1835.
Oh, so
Whoa.
it wasn't Bugs Bunny. Okay.
Interesting. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
Ether.
so-
That's Ether. We are
Yeah.
getting to, all right. It's the Book of Mormon in a nutshell, all right? People from Jerusalem make their trip. They are powered by God. They settle in America, the promised land, and now they fracture into righteous.
Now
and
they're
evil,
begatting.
and now they're at
They're
war
begatting.
with each other, and they're begatting. That's right. Yep. So this is just like, you know, that little meta thing, that little microcosm Book of Mormon within the Book of Mormon. So we're halfway through it. More than halfway through the Book of Ether.
Okay,
The
so
key
are
and secret
we-
is to read the Book of Mormon backwards.
I just made the foolish thing of
Right.
looking ahead to see how many chapters were left in Ether because you said that's Ether. There's a few chapters left of Ether. So when we meet up next, is that going to be Ether 8?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
And
All right,
maybe
now
we can crush it out next episode because the rest of Ether sucks. The rest of it is pretty boring. So
Well,
I like the way you foreshadow. Okay, so just as a heads up, I will not be available a week from today. I'll be at the American Atheist National Convention in Philadelphia.
finally get some sleep. I mean, not until Tuesday or the next Tuesday.
Okay,
I get
So-
one sleep.
yeah, so we'll have to postpone this for another week. I just want to make sure it is Ether 8, and that'll be sometime in April now.
Yeah.
Okay.
good
All right.
times.
Is there anybody have any final comments?
I'm going to Manti, Utah, y'all, to go through the temple. So I'll return and report.
I'm jealous. I want to see it so bad. I want to see those old murals. I never got to see the temple when I was a member.
Wasn't that
Literally-
when we were talking about a couple of weeks ago with the yeah.
So literally, this temple, unless you have a recommend, you can't go into that thing. It opened in 1983 for 3 days. 40,000 people showed up to try to get through that thing, and now this is the only second chance anybody's ever been able to go through it since the 1800s, and it has the oldest surviving mural in there, which was from 1886, I think.
Can
And
you
so-
explain why would they have a thing and just have it like a thing in a room with no reason to not show it to anybody and go
10%, baby.
years.
Put it behind a
300 bi-
paywall.
300 billion strong.
Yeah.
They have
The wealthiest religion on the planet. Of course, they put their shit behind a paywall, Aaron. That's how this works.
Okay.
So April 5th is the last day you could go through there. Anybody in Utah, go for it. Like they say you can get tickets and stuff. They don't count tickets. It's probably a 4-hour wait all day long. So head down there.
But you've got the invite, you've got the tickets, you've got
Mhm.
are you going to be able to take pictures?
Not
They
unless I want
they
to be Mike Norton, who's an asshole.
Yeah, they have pictures for the media that you can see on their own press release website about the open house, as it's called. But they do not allow photography, video, anything to go on.
But we
happened when
literally-
went through the Vatican. We went through the Vatican, and my wife tried to take a picture of the roof of the Sistine Chapel, and the security guards grabbed her. And I remember at some point she just yelled out very, very loudly, "Don't touch me!"
Oh no.
Good for her.
She's taking pictures
Well,
with a cell phone. It's not even flash photography.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
there's no
Well, Aaron,
reason not to be able to do that.
check this out. The creation room, the murals from the 1800s have dinosaurs in the creation room.
Where?
I'm so excited. In the temple, dinosaurs in the temple.
Yeah.
Where
there's a-
you're going?
There's a golden calf in there too. And there's a Native
gotta be a
American posed
surveillance-
like Jesus.
There's got to be a surveillance camera, one of those little ink, cameras inside of an ink pen that you can put in your lapel. All right, stop.
Mike Norton
We're not
knows.
having a fight here. Okay.
There's existing photos of all of it.
Yeah, you can see
Okay,
it all.
good.
So.
All right. I guess see you not next week, but see you in 2 weeks.
I'm sorry. I just remembered one thing that I knew to announce. So I've been working with a team of individuals putting together a
Oh, yeah.
documentary about the psychedelic history of Mormonism, and the trailer is up for that documentary, and we are scheduling a screening for that as well. So I will send a link to Peter to put in the show notes to find a link to the actual trailer of that documentary.
That sounds awesome.
It's awesome. I've been following this stuff with Bryce since like 2016 or something. So this is pretty cool to get into a documentary type of form.
Yeah, we're very excited.
Brilliant. All right. See you in April. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.